And so when they discovered Fran was the one that was blackmailing, I put that in quotes, but blackmailing Marta, I was just like, literally, I had to stop the movie and I said to Chloe, who's Fran?
I forgot. She did. I was like, the housekeeper?
She's not beautiful. She's not. She's not. She's not. She's not. She's not. She's not.
Her blackmail still didn't tell us like
Anything,
who,
really.
what and why. Like it didn't. Like it helped a little bit, but not really. But then we found out it actually helped a lot more than we thought when we got to the end and realized that she was still alive, and Marta got there and was able to say whatever, and Barbara was able to realize what she actually said, all that stuff. But at the point when it came out, we're like, okay,
it didn't make any sense,
why, girl. I mean, why?
Yeah,
whatever.
because I guess for me, I've seen, like, I used to love Law and Order. SVU. I don't watch it that much anymore, but Law and Order SVU was my show. I used to watch it with my mother all the time. But one of the things that, like, from that show, I was always able to guess who it was because it was like a combination of the two. So it was always a person that you never suspected, but it was always like a person like a friend-ish of the person. Like, they came across as very nice.
Oh yeah,
and
they act like they helped the investigation.
That they helped the investigation and everything like that. Like,
exactly
they were also kind of
did.
behind. They were also kind of behind the scenes as well. So they were. I guess it's a combination of both what you were saying, Chloe, about people who are more so behind the scenes are the ones that kind of commit these crimes in these shows.
So
for me,
it's not obvious. Somebody you're like, they definitely did it. It's never that.
But I kind of caught on. Like, whenever I was watching Law and Order, I would be like, oh, it's probably that person. And also, you usually meet this person at the beginning of the show too. So they might be the first person that the detectives were talking to, or the second person. They were always really nice and kind of almost seemed very helpful, pushing the investigation along, and then it would always circle back to them. So I think
that's exactly what happened with Chris.
But even for Chris, he was never really. I don't think he was nice. Like,
he wasn't nice, but he was nice to Marta after he got her out of that skirmish with his family, and it took her to the diner, and then she confessed to him. It seemed like he was on her side.
He was definitely in my brain though. Like he was nice to her, but also there was still something off about him, and I was just like. Because one, he didn't come in until halfway through the movie. They just kept mentioning him. Right. And then he didn't really make an appearance until, halfway through. I was like, first of all, I was like, where's my man at? Where's my boo?
Yeah, that's all she cares about.
I was like, where is Chris? I need to see that face. But then, like, when he came in halfway through, I was like, there was still something, like, off about him. You know? So I was just like, I don't really know. So I wasn't too surprised that it was his character, since there was something off about him. But like, it was a nice twist, but I wasn't like, oh my gosh, it is his character, right? Yeah. So you know what would be really fun if we did what would we change about the movie? Okay. This is gonna tie into me not being too surprised it was Chris. So if I could change anything about the movie, I probably would change maybe the big reveal of the character who set this whole thing in motion. So because I wasn't too surprised that it was Chris, because there was something off about him, I probably would have changed that. I suspected, for some reason, because I'm always weary of really nice people in movies like this, there was one member of the family who was super, super nice to Marta. And like, she was in school, and like, she was just really, really sweet to her. And a part of me was just like, especially in these types of movies, I was like, So that would have been, like, I wouldn't say cool, but it would have been cool if I probably would have been more like, you was nice to her.
Right.
Too.
You lied to us.
You lied to us all. You lied to us all. If they had like made it her who set this whole thing in motion, or even if it was her who like was working with Ransom. Like, that would have been a little.
Or they all did it because they were trying to get the inheritance.
Exactly. Or they all did it. Like, they all were working together. Like, you know, I mean, stuff like that. That would have been kind of interesting. What would you have changed about the movie if you was gonna change something?
know, nothing honestly popped into my head like, oh no, I would do that differently. But that's because, I don't know, I take everything like, okay, it's just how it is.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So we're gonna go to our scoring
time.
So if you don't know, we score from 1 to 5 for our reviews. 5 is like out of this world, amazing, blew my mind, bam. Like, so in terms of movies, I would like 5 is like you would buy this movie, watch this movie repeatedly on repeat.
Over and over again. Yeah.
You would hit the repeat button over and over again. And 1 is like, okay, that movie can just go somewhere else and just not ever make an appearance again in life. All right.
Okay.
All right. Do you want to go first?
Sure, I'll go first.
Okay.
So, Chloe scored. I would say,
yes.
I'm trying to think. You know, I'm really nice, so I always kind of inflate my scores because I think that the director and writer are somehow listening to me. They're not. Okay, so I want to say I would give it, I'm going to go with my first 9.
Okay.
I'm going to give it a 4.5.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's
really
I won't
good.
say a 5. It is. That's for the movie. But I wouldn't say I wouldn't watch it like over and over and over again. It's not like some of my classics that I can just watch, like just toss it in there and watch. But I really did like it, and it kept me on my toes at every second. Not every second, but it kept me on my toes for most of the movie. It wasn't like I didn't lose interest. I did not once be like, let me see what's on Instagram. Like, also because I wanted to make sure I was informed when talking on this review. But still, it was very interesting. I was very impressed with the acting. Because like the first thing I said was my expectation was that the acting would be good because of the people in it. Jamie's part, like she wasn't super big, but she played her part. She was annoying and mean, but she did it well. Lakeith, who I didn't know was going to be in this movie, was killing it. He was kind of like off to the side, but he played his part well as well. Chris Evans, it was so hard for me to not see this man who was just like, everything's good, save the world, be great, be Captain America, like be the villain, like someone who tried to kill his grandfather and then kill somebody else. It was wild, but like it was believable. Like he played his part well. Like I was able to detach him from Captain America, and I'm like, who is this? Oh, I don't like him. His character was so mean. And then my guy, Daniel Craig, who is James Bond, who's using debonair and like coming out the water with water glistening and dripping off of him.
Okay,
he is crazy. Okay, don't
I see you paying attention.
I mean, it's a classic Bond trope, though. Somebody has to come out the ocean, and it gotta be glistening. It's a thing. I think. Like movie buffs have said, like most of the time it's a Bond girl, like somebody he's going to sleep with, but in one of the movies it was him. So I was like, okay, I'll try to play this. Either way, I was really impressed with him with this crazy southern drawl and accent. It was so not James Bond. It was so not the other things he's been in. Like sort of in a way James Bond, because he's kind of still figuring out who did something, which is a Bond kind of thing. But it was kind of detached. And sometimes silly at a time, and then like really serious when he's like, I got this. Sometimes kind of like crazy when he's talking about donut holes and a hole, but also in a donut hole, and it's like, what?
When he was giving that speech at the end, I was just like,
I know, I was like, I got overwhelmed. I was like, too much. What?
I was like, get to the point. I was trying to keep up with his analogies.
Who killed him? Like, what is it? Who did it?
I was like, where are you getting that, sir?
I was impressed with your girl, even though I was upset with her. Well, no, I wouldn't change anything about the plot, though. I was irked with her because I'm like, if you know you made a mistake, just do it. But I know she was trying to honor the man and his wishes and think about her mother and all this stuff. And so, all
right, 4.5, that's pretty good. That's really good, Chloe.
So,
I'm probably going to give it a 4.
Okay.
Yes. I love movies. So like there are certain like when these types of movies come into play, I do take into account the surprise factor or the plot twist. Right? If I say during a movie plot twist, I'm enjoying that movie.
Alright.
And so, I mean, I guess there was a little bit of the plot twist with it actually being a suicide. But, like, you know, like I said earlier, I would have changed, like, maybe someone else doing the crime. Because it wasn't that much of a surprise that Ransom, Chris Evans' character, was the perpetrator. Like, it wasn't that big of a surprise. So I will give it a 4 for that reason. I really enjoyed the acting. I really like seeing people in different roles and stuff like that. So like you said, Chloe, it was really cool to see Chris Evans in not a hero type role. That he's like, you know, the bad guy. It was really cool to see that. This movie has some great heavyweights in it. Everybody fed off each other really well. It was really, I love the originality of it. I love the chemistry of the cast. I love the visual aspect of it. The cinematography. I think that's what it's called. The cinematography was really good. Like that was really good. It was very visually pleasing, and I really did like. It did keep me intrigued, and it kept me interested. And as you see, we had to stop it like 5 times. Be like, "What's happening?" Like, so I did, like, you know what I mean. It was very straightforward too, so I wasn't confused in like it was. I was confused in a good way, like, oh, what is happening? But not confused. But not like what? Not like
what's going on in this movie.
Like I sometimes have been in those movies where it's like at the beginning, I'm just like I don't understand what's happening, and then I have to kind of like catch up. I've been in those. I watched those movies before, but this one wasn't that sort of way. So, but yeah, I give it a 4 only because I wasn't that surprised that it was Ransom that did it. If they had made it somebody else, and I was more surprised at that, I probably would have given it a 5. I probably would have given it like a 4.55. But I wasn't that surprised.
Not 4.55.
Probably like a 5. But like, yeah, that's it. But yeah, 4.5. Yay!
Yes, a 4.5.
I know that's pretty good. You guys should go watch this. We would recommend this. C&T recommend this movie.
I know it came out like last year, but so what? You can go watch it. It's on Prime now.
Yeah, it is on. Yeah, it's on Amazon Prime. So
yeah, so go watch that, Joel.
You should. It was a really good movie. It was a really good movie. I can see why people really liked it. Definitely.
Yeah, I'm gonna go watch it again.
This has been another C&T review. Thank you for hanging out with us today.
If you enjoyed this video, please like, comment, subscribe, and check out our other videos. We'll see you next time. Bye!